也这场比赛打很久，有没有什么话想对你的对手说的呢？
我觉得对手打得很棒吧，但是他们上去赢不了，只有我们能赢。
I think they played really well and they're amazing. However, if they go up to the grand finals, I don't think they will win, so it has to be us.
All right, excellent stuff. One more time. Can you do it, XM? Are you going to be lifting this Aegis against Falcons?
我们最后想知道，有没有机会，会不会把这个盾举起来，然后击败 Falcons？
一定可以的。
For sure.
Let's go! Hamburg, let me hear it for your second grand finalist in its Extreme Gaming and XM.
A lot of confidence coming out of XM, and you're going to need it after that game at number 3. The way they played, it was so clean. It was so tense. It felt like at any moment we could have been seeing a fight that wasn't going their way. The patience they had, it paid off. It was a fantastic game here from both sides.
It really did. Man, China is so back. After seeing them perform in the road to TI playoffs, being undefeated as well, I don't think many people expected China to have this dominant performance as well. And they are getting close. Yesterday, they did have 2 really long series. They didn't get much sleep. Now they could potentially play 8 games, and it seems like they're not done yet. I think this is going to be extremely good grand finals. And also Ame, rest of the crew as well. He did go to 2 times to the grand finals, didn't manage to get it. You also have him and XNO at TI8, him and Jinkyu at TI10 getting close as well. So they're definitely here to lift that Aegis.
Yeah, it was a great showing. Like we said, it could have gone for either team in that game, number 3, Extreme Gaming moving on. But right now, we do unfortunately have to say goodbye to P-Vision.
Yeah, thanks, Nat. I am here with no one of P-Vision. Let's give a round of applause. You guys were amazing this whole tournament. Just at the very end there, I saw you guys having a huddle in the booth and a talk. What were you saying to each other?
That it's okay, and you don't need to worry. Yeah, because I think Satani got a little bit too much on himself, and we were just saying, no, bro, we lose as a team.
Absolutely. He's such a young kid. He was obviously very nervous. What was it about this series that meant you couldn't play your normal sort of aggressive, chaotic style? It felt like the game slowed down compared to how you normally play.
I think we whole tournament don't play like we played whole year because the meta is like this right now. And against Extreme especially, all games were like 2-2, 15 minutes, you just farm, chill. And yeah, it was not the best game to play, honestly. To be Beastmaster last.
It's very nerve-wracking.
It's not, come again?
Like it makes you nervous, like it's on edge? Or...
No, it was not nervous, it was not just enjoyable. I'm playing Beastmaster into Medusa, Pac, and Tower Save, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to play last game on TI like this.
Fair enough. You guys have had, as you said, such a great season. You've been fantastic to watch. This is such a wonderful team. What, if you could pick something, was your highlight this year?
I think this time. This year is the best highlight of this team. I'm really proud of the whole guys in our team, of the work that we did to go on this side, because we had really serious problems before. First problems that we had on team, it was happened before TI and it was really hard. But in the end, I don't know, I had a feeling that we will win this, but we didn't.
Not this year, but I hope we see you guys back again. Do you have any words for the fans out there who've been supporting Paravision, not just here, but all season long?
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I play Dota. It's because of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Noah. You guys have been magnificent to watch. We're sorry we have to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much. There goes the Dota legend. There's no one right there. Back to the panel.
Thank you so much, Pyrian. And of course, no one, it's not an easy loss by any means, but 3rd place at TI, it is a feat in itself. And the way that they played all throughout the last 2 weeks in this series, yes, it wasn't enough, but it was enough for Dota viewers. I had so much joy watching everything that they did here.
Yeah, unbelievably interesting team.
Yeah.
Redefining the meta, and I love this concept that he said coming into TI, this was the first time that we had problems. This is a relatively new roster, all things considered, so there is going to come a point where the team falters, and to fix that right before TI, the most important tournament in the Dota schedule, and get 3rd place, this is no one's best showing at TI. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, like fixing whatever problems they had, especially interpersonal problems between the players or maybe draft issues. Like it's actually something that not every team is going to be able to do.
Yeah, I think this loss might hit a little bit harder for them just because of how good this early game felt that it was going on the side of P-Vision. It was very close. They could have closed it out a little bit earlier there, but it all started off in the lanes. That's what these two games previously have kind of indicated as to who's going to be that winner. But for this game number 3, P-Vision just had really good lanes. They were really strong in that way.
Yeah, they had it. I mean, they made this Chen rotation towards the bot lane. They said that they picked Chen in order to counter Medusa, and the lane was going phenomenally. All 3 cores of P-Vision were on top of the charts. We see a little interesting play here from old Dookie, where he protects the Wisdom Room by trapping Xnova on the bridge there. And the early game was going great for them, but XG, they knew that if they just held the game out, they were going to win the late.
Yeah, in the first 5 minutes, they did get a lot of advantage as well. And something similar that did happen in game number 2, where Ame was the one dictating the tempo of the game, making this rotation to the top lane, making sure that Anti-Mage is not getting the farm. It was pretty much Satanic who did the same thing on his Templar Assassin. He's going through the Twin Gates. He's making sure that they are getting the kills. These are the 2 kills that they did get. And after that, they didn't get the kill for like good 35 minutes. The game did slow down. They were unable to go in and try to close it out because they were like 15,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that did really well is they were behind, but they were really patient and they waited for the right fights to take.
Yeah,
this was the first move, right?
Yeah, that was that move that kind of set the tempo for the game for the next good 30-35 minutes, but it just opened up the map so much because you have Beastmaster, you have Chen, these are the heroes that are going to be dictating where the fights are going to be going. It's very difficult to invade where Beastmaster wants to play.
On one hand, it was very strange to see so much downtime in this game. On the other hand, you have 5 players on both teams who are imagining themselves in those booths for the grand finals, right? So one single move and you can break the game. And that's how XG has played up until this point, is that they will not take a bad fight. They will wait until the perfect information is presented and then they will fight.
And they're also not really giving away a lot of pickoffs. Like sometimes it happens when players just die randomly on the map. But if everyone is actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, I think it's quite normal that there are no kills happening because there are no mistakes in the game.
Yeah, that's how you know 2 teams are very evenly matched. The sort of tempo, the pacing, it's not always that scrappy sort of Dota that people might love to watch. However, later in the game, when it did come down to those team fights where it felt like this Medusa was practically unstoppable, that's where we saw just how clutch players had to be for the spell usage, the item usage too.
Yeah, we skipped pretty far ahead in the
We
highlights
went from
here.
7 minutes to 40 minutes.
40 minutes, but that is how long it took in this game. This was a very close fight, I would say, where you have phenomenal Dota being played on both sides. What we don't see off screen in this is that DM wraps around to go for the back line here, basically isolating Ame. You know, any skilled Dota player, any Dota player who's played a lot says, you're going on an Aegis Medusa. This is a,
bottom right.
There it is. This is an insane thing to do. Why are you making this play? Well, it's because somebody is making the call. We heard their comms in one of the previous panels, and very clear comms from P-Vision, where they are making the bold call to go for the back lines. And slowly but surely, they try to chip away at Ame.
Yeah, we then see Extreme Gaming adjust from this one. They realize just how integral their supports are, just how much chaos this Bristleback could cause, and so they stuck more together as a unit. They weren't really afraid of that, looking at what the lineup of P-Vision could carry out in a team fight.
This was insane. I mean, the clip is still going. This is still the same clip, guys. They end up actually getting Satanic here because Ame is strong enough to continue to man up just with XM. And by the way, I think XM is the hidden hero of this game. He was so disruptive, and he was also that secondary carry that I think Extreme needed to carry the game because there was so much focus on dealing with Ame from the side of P-Vision that if XM just went for this Aghanim Scepter build and scaled into the late game, there was clearly not enough to deal with both of these heroes at the same time.
Yeah, he definitely did go for the right choice. He understood that this game might be going late, seeing how their previous series did go with not too many kills, one big fight that can turn the whole thing around, and he did die only one time, and so did Jinkyu. Very impressive coming out from both of these players, and of course Ame on his Medusa. I really love the way that they are team fighting on side of Extreme Gaming, because you can always tell that they are taking care of each other, whether we're talking about, you know, some of the force staff, the cookies, whatever is necessary to be able to keep them alive just so that they can get in there and this is going to be also another one of the longer fights where they initiate onto Satanic. I think XXS in this game had that killer instinct that you need to have from your offlaner, where he jumps in, he's not hesitating there for a second at all, and XM's going to be the one cleaning up. You can see the cart as well, which has been insanely good when they're sieging the high ground, when they're needing that extra save. Even no one talked about how it's very annoying for him to play the Beastmaster in these type of lineups with multiple saves where you initiate. There's a Medusa, then you have a Golem from Warlock, Stampede, you have as well Cart. So very difficult fights for them to take. And in this fight, they also have pretty much every single tool to be able to deal with the Bristleback, because he's very annoying. They do have Heart, they do have SNY on him, but you're also burning mana with the Disperser. Scotty, GD Pollen Bag was available earlier. You have Break Mechanic from Silver Edge, you have Shiva's Guard on Centaur. So every single tool available that you need to have against Bristleback.
When the fights did happen, there were some really high skill things that were happening in them. For example, like I really do believe that DM, this is not an easy game for him. Like when the break mechanic comes out, I feel like he was still able to kite and do a lot in these fights. I feel like
Staff also, right, saving him a couple of times.
Yep, so he was even trying to dodge the break hit using the Outworld staff. And then on the flip side, XXS on Centaur, there was sometimes where he seemed a little trigger happy on the ultimate, but also we saw what happened when P-Vision focused him and killed him at the start of a fight. These are the only fights that P-Vision took where they actually won. So in the fights where he blinked in, hit that double stun, and then ulted out, like this is where he was the most successful. And what was setting up for this was XM on Puck, creating that chaos.
I mean, the thing with the puck is like the puck makes it very difficult for the opponents to maintain formation, right? So when you look at team fights, like how the team fights are taken, you look at how they are maintaining formation, and when the center goes in, they are always together. They go in together, they go back together. When the supports are being targeted by the Beastmaster, they all go back and protect the supports. Whereas when you are on the parry vision side, you're playing against this puck, it's very hard for you to maintain your formation. So your Bristleback's in front. So when the puck goes behind, it's like sometimes it's very difficult for him to come back because he couldn't come back. And they don't really have a lot of small little stunts that would allow them to actually kite forward, like the centaur. You know, he goes in, he goes back, he goes in, he goes back. It's very easy for them to do that. I think that is ultimately what made the team fight so difficult for them.
Now, all three cores just having a little bit of loss syndrome where they're like, I don't know exactly where to sit in this fight. How can I really do a lot? And I know in our breakdown, we jumped from about the 7-minute mark to the 40-minute mark, and something in between that was very spectacular happened, but we got someone just as spectacular to break it down for us.
Thanks, Nat. There's so much that goes into a win and a loss, and sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's skill, sometimes it's small mistakes. And I have a couple things to highlight from that very crucial 28-minute Roche fight. Now, the most important thing that happened here is this Observer and Sentry sat directly outside of the pit this entire fight, which gave Extreme Gaming crazy vision. And look at this, Ducal's actually had a Sentry. He just didn't put it down. It's a small mistake. Sometimes pro players overlook that stuff. So XXS jumps in to scout Roshan, stuns his opponents, and buys some time here. But as P-Vision starts retreating and grouping up, look at this crazy fatal bonds that happens here from X-Nova. Look at that. He links the Bristleback to the TA, to the creep, down to the Chen. So all the damage they take ends up getting spread amongst them, which makes their damage really good. But watch this. As we see the TA go into the Roche pit here, he's going to get bashed by Roshan here. And then this 60-second cooldown roar comes off cooldown right here, which disarms him for 2 seconds. He's trying to all in on the Roche at this exact moment. And then he bashes the Beastmaster as he blinks in, trying to catch the puck. So Beastmaster says, okay, I have to roar here, because that's going to push people out and stun them. He gets the roar off, it pushes out XM, so he's not in the Roche pit. But unfortunately, as he goes to take the Aegis, the exact same time Amir runs in with his ulti, that's going to end up stunning him. So he can't grab the Aegis this whole time. And then the roar duration runs out. XSS is able to pick this up. So the sequence of events that led to this turnaround, the Sentry not being placed, the Roche bash, the Roche roar into the follow-up bash, all contributed to the Aegis being stolen there by Extreme Gaming and allowing them to get back into this game. Crazy series of events, but it absolutely mattered here in that last game.
Thank you so much, Pudge. Yeah, that 28-minute mark right there.
Sixth player, huh?
Wow.
The levels of it are so much. The fact that they're able to so closely keep this chain stun going, right? It's so easy to overlap it. It's so easy to just miss time by a split second, and that's enough that you don't get that Aegis snatch.
Felt so unlucky, you know, for them.
Sure.
Because that actually mattered so much for especially the TA, you know, he needed the Aegis to be able to push forward, you know, and losing that there it was just such a heartbreaking moment for them. And in that manner, you know, sure, they didn't put the Sentry down, but it was still unlucky.
Relatable, though. I feel like we all see ourselves in P-Vision's shoes every now and then, where just the worst possible sequence of things happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hyped though. The arena went crazy when the Aegis Snatch happened. Like these guys were just going wild. And for a lot of people, this is their first time coming to a TI. Is anyone in the audience first time TI? There's a lot of people making their journey out to Germany here for their first time at TI, but a lot of players, it's also their first time. So we're gonna have a look at exactly how we prepare those players.
Okay, fresh meat. Welcome to your first international, all 16 of you. Jesus. All right, we have made this informational video here for you today to give you the do's and don'ts of TI. So do pay attention, all right? There will be a quiz at the end, and you can't pro-track your way out of this one. It's a joke about that. So, orientational seminar. Side A.
Знаєш, що це? Що це? Тут щоб тренуватися? Ні, оце що? Оце що?
Your first time at the International.
Hello, my name is Fear. You might remember me from such things as free-to-play, winning TI5, and other things. I'm here to help give you the tools necessary so you can have a rewarding and fun experience at your first international. Let's get started.
Before the event.
If you're watching this video, you've already completed the first step. You successfully got your visa and made it to a different country. Some of the topics we'll be covering will include etiquette in the booths, live fan interactions, shuttling to the main event arena, and other things to help you on this.
Bro, what is the point of this? We are from NA. We have no chance. We're not making it out of the group stage.
Streamlining communication.
Discussing drafts to your teammates at TI can be stressful. Which one of these following examples do you think is the right way to speak to your drafter?
Do you really want to pick TA and Tide for the third time?
Or you could say,
does it really give us everything we need?
This is much better than a more emotionally charged response, such as,
what the f are you guys doing? You're gonna lose this tournament!
Do you think that is the right way to communicate with your teammates? That's right. Toxicity will never win you games.
Maintaining competitive integrity.
There's a lot on the line at the International, and some players will try anything to gain an advantage. Let's take a look at how some of the most vigilant teams could fall victim to chicanery.
兄弟们，我在酒店碰到一个老奶奶，我跟她聊得很开心，她有点让我想起了我的祖母。我们可以让她来我们的训练室看一下吗？可以。Come on.
The boys play e-games here. Can you pause this game? Wait, is that Carrie Tinka? Does somebody want candies here?
Did you spot what was wrong? That old lady was actually a 34-year-old Brazilian man spying on another team. You never know when such treachery may be afoot.
The crowd.
Some of you may be thinking, Fear, I'm used to playing from the comfort of my bedroom. What happens if at some point I become acutely aware of the thousands of people watching and start panicking as the fragile threads of my psyche unravel, leaving nothing but the weight of my own cosmic insignificance?
Keyboards, mice, and other peripherals.
We recommend all players bring 2 sets of their preferred equipment to the event.
Hey, Motion, what are you doing here?
You know, if you miss the 50i, they make you do this shit again.
Ah, sorry man.
Thank you.
With that, we have covered all 75 tips for the TI after party. Now, you're ready to go find a new team and be the guy everyone wants to talk to. And that's everything you need to know about your first time at the International. Hopefully, now you won't get ganked by any problems and keep true sight of your goals.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, so not the most entertaining video in the world, but hopefully y'all learned something and you could every year Gabe is gonna be pissed. What can you do?
What a fantastic piece of content, of course, looking behind the scenes at exactly how our first-time TI players are introduced into the whole experience of the 2 weeks that went on here.
That was very interesting that both the 30-year-old Brazilian men were dressing up as grandmas. I don't know what's is this the strat to get to top 6 in TI?
You gotta stay vigilant, all right? You never know
Grandma
what's gonna
strat.
happen.
Yeah, probably half of the people who are like watching Dota, even though Dota is a relatively old community, are like, what is this piece of technology that they're using? What is this VHS? Like, what is that?
I was wondering if any of the young players actually were questioning what it was, or if that was just dialogue put in there.
Doesn't matter, 10 out of 10.
I think that was live. I don't think that was like pre-recorded.
No, it was a lot of fun. And it's been so much fun seeing just how far all of the new players were able to make. Of course, we just said goodbye to P-Vision, but to get third on your very first TI for Satanic 9 Class Ducalis, it's amazing.
Definitely is. Unfortunately, for example, 9 Class wasn't able to experience TI previous year because of the visa issue. He now gets a third place, which is a huge result. And for them to, experience the main stage of TI, they got so close. They kind of had that game in the bag as well. But I really like what they did, especially with no one, with the hugs and everything, understanding that the youngest member of the team, they need to know how to lift him up, and they definitely did. But there's a lot to learn from this as well.
Yeah, look, it's been such an absolute pleasure working with you guys for this TI. The day is not over by any means. We still have our champions to crown, a team to lift that Aegis. Our grand final will be coming up very soon, but before that begins, of course, we have our TI tradition. We're gonna head on down to the stage with Tsunami for our cosplay contest.
Thank you very much. That's right, we've got some festivities to attend to. And one of those time-honored traditions is indeed the International of 14 Cosplay Contest, sponsored by SteelSeries. As you can see, I've already got a bevy of judges joining me. If you don't mind introducing yourselves, I've got Marugito as Lena.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much for bringing me on again. I loved the experience of TI at Copenhagen last year, and we have just as many amazing cosplayers to show you today. So I hope you all are excited.
Oh, they should be, and indeed, I see them already out of the corner of my eye, as well as I'm joined by Chiyu Neko as Hoodwink.
Hi everyone, it's so nice to be back here again, and I'm so excited to be back in Europe. I'm so excited to see everyone's amazing work. European cosplay does not disappoint.
And we are going to be able to see that in the flesh very soon. And last but not least, we've got Karo Inanna as Luna.
Hello everyone, this is my very first TI, so I'm so excited to be here, and oh my god, this is amazing. Can you see all these people? Can you see the stage? Can you see it all? It's awesome.
It's beautiful. And we are also going to show off some beautiful cosplays. So, shall we get started with the showcase? Lena, if you may.
Thank you. All right, first off, we have Graphamanka as Naga Siren. She has made it here all the way from Kazakhstan. It took her 4 months to make this beautiful cosplay, and she's used various techniques. And just overall, look at this amazing silhouette of this cosplay and how she's really brought the hero to life.
I love the movement as well, slithering along that stage. Next up,
we have Tanact as Axe. This cosplayer is tiny. Look at him. In his full cosplay, he hits the ceiling and stands tall at 250 centimeters. And for all you Americans out there, that's over 8 feet tall.
Or in other words, you can stack 2 of me on top and I still wouldn't be as tall. Next up, number 3.
Next up is Jim Ballas as Clockwork. Like, look at this beauty. This costume was planned in 1 year, made in 2 months. Day-to-day work. And as he said, it's fully hand-painted and made of foam and hopes and dreams.
I love the animations as well. That man's about to hookshot across the stage.
All right, now we have Varen as Juggernaut. To him, this is not just a costume, it's a decade of passion for the game that has inspired him to spend over 16,000 hours making this costume and bringing it here today.
And here's a little bonus fact for you out there. This man won that GG Well Played contest that we did yesterday, so he's very multi-talented.
Next up, we have Twisted Fate as Lena. This cosplayer came to us all the way from Colombia, and she picked the set. Because she really wanted to showcase her roots and her love for Latin American culture.
The heritage and the sophistication to go with it, it's incredible.
Next up is Marzaus as Shadow Shaman, and when I went to him to ask him about his interesting story, he said he tried to go for a realistic look of this character, but claims no birds were harmed in its making.
He's got the taunt down too!
Yes, and next we have Rehab G Naked as Beastmaster. And this is yet another beautifully crafted costume with tiny details all throughout the costume. It has intricate foam work and also a lot of sewing techniques and clever solutions for LEDs and technology all throughout this costume.
The technology and the fitness required to be able to pull off a cosplay like this. Incredible stuff.
Next up, we have Yangi as Murda. This cosplayer's makeup took 2 hours to do every morning, so appreciate that. She did it for all of you guys. She also bought her very first power tool just to make her wings.
And she's got the firearms to support it as well. Next up.
Next up is Astela as Wind Ranger, and she said it's been made in 4 months, and her favorite part is her bow that is 3D printed, has 2 modes of LEDs, and us as judges, we just loved her wig that is actually made of 2 wigs.
Give her a few more kills and she's gonna turn orange in that Arcana. And our last showcase.
All right, so our last cosplayer to be presented on stage today is Vanusha as Anti-Mage. This costume also has several different techniques. She's used 3D modeling, foam, hand sculpting, and sewing. And please pay extra attention to her shoulders, where she has hand sculpted deep pauldrons. They are just gorgeous.
The Oni Demon. Can we get a round of applause for all of these cosplayers to make it to this final stage? This was only the top 10 after a tough selection, and everyone has done an incredible job. There is so much talent and passion on this stage right now. And in the spirit of that, we would like to take a moment to remember one specific cosplayer who joined this stage last year. Some of you may recall seeing a stunning Enchantress cosplay in Copenhagen, and the artist behind that hero was Grace Peachy Bell Bell. And she unfortunately lost her battle with leukemia earlier this year. She was a cherished member of the community and a dear friend to us all. So, Barclays Arena, if you could, please stand up and share your love, share your cheers, share your applause for all of the cosplay talent here on this stage in Grace's honor. Every finalist here shares her same passion, and we are here to celebrate that. And now, I would like all of you to keep this same energy as we share some awards with the standouts on this stage. If you may.
Our first award that we'll announce is Judges' Choice. And to receive Judges' Choice, you need to receive overall high score and, well, impress us. So without further ado, that award goes to Axe as Tanakt, other way around.
Next up. Next up, we have. Oh, wait. It's hers.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Lena always gets priority. She's a core hero.
Yes, thank you. All right, so our next award is Best Technique, and here we really focus on the craft. So the top 10 here, this is like our top winners, actually. Everyone on stage today are winners, even if you don't get these special awards, because we've had 2 days of looking at the cosplayers before then, and they've told us all about how they made their costumes. So here we will look for high-level craft in several areas. And our Best Technique winner is Twisted Grace as Lena. Yeah, this person just wowed us when she walked in. We just fell in love with this costume right away. This has such great attention to details. She has foam work, electronics and soldering, wig work, resin casting, sewing, hand sewing. She's done it all, and she's done it all beautifully. So congratulations.
All right, next up, we have Best Transformation. As we all know, Dota heroes are weird. They're squirrels, rocks, trees, all sorts of weird things, and it's really hard to match the anatomy of that and bring that to life. So I'm really happy to pronounce this award. This cosplayer really wowed us. They walked through the door and we were like, wow. So they worked really hard on getting the perfect scale, 1 to 25 of the entire character, and they even did little tiny feet. So let's give it up for Jimbalis! Jimbalis!
The Clockwork! A full transformation on display here. And we have one last award to give out, and that is Best in Show. Barclays Arena. Gonna get a drum roll with your feet, please. And the winner of Best in Show is Rehab G Naked as Beastmaster! A full performance from start to finish. The aesthetics, the animations, the craftsmanship on a display here has been impeccable. And not just for her, but again, at Barclays Arena, one more round of applause for all of the cosplays, whether you submitted it and weren't able to make it to finals, or everyone who made it here in the arena. The community never ceases to impress. The International 14 Cosplay Contest is sponsored by SteelSeries, but we've got some other community efforts that we would like to showcase.
Thank you so much, Tsunami. Absolutely, cosplayers, absolutely incredible to see their creativity. But they're not the only creative people in this community. In fact, we have come to one of my personal favorites of the event, besides the world-class Dota, and that is announcing the winners of the short film contest. The short film contest is so incredible because it displays why our community is so amazing. From creative builds to creative plays to, of course, creative art. Like all of the hundreds of thousands of videos that you guys have submitted over the course of the International showing your creativity. We went through every single submissions, even the AI ones, and there were a lot, but we came out with some of the top 3 from the community. So before I announce your top 3, if I could get you guys one more time to give a round of applause to everyone that submitted for the short film contest this year to motivate them to do it again. Thank you guys so much. All right, my friends, the time has come. We had so many good submissions this year, and the top 3 was harder than ever to find. But we do have our first one. In third place, no stranger to the short film contest finalist, second place winner last year, and now representing South America on the stage yet again. My friends, this one should be a pretty good reason for you to remember not to make enemies out of your teammates. Lord knows I could learn that lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Grudges by Night Fury. Absolutely incredible. A good lesson for us all, and what a fantastic twist. Thank you so much, and congratulations on third place. Now, our second place finalist here is no stranger to the short film contest grand finals either. Won first place 7 years ago, and 2-time second place winner. Such an incredible film with custom models, great story, and one heck of an animation. You would expect that, though, from Keller Max and their piece, Dead Inside. Absolutely. Love seeing the creativity come out. What a cool concept as we go in to our grand winner. Now, my friends, concept is key in these. You can have fantastic animations, you can have fantastic script, but a whole team of people brought together this one for your first place. Same team that won third place last year, relative newcomers to the short film contest, but this year they have taken it. You know, in this world that we live in, there are a lot of different words out there. One of them is a word for cinema that the Europeans use. It's called kino. And here, I have to say that this short film is indeed absolute cinema. Let's go ahead and check out your first place winner and see if you can get all the references. Congratulations again to our top 3 winners, and thank you again for the incredible community that we have that submit these things every single year. Keep on doing it, guys. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be able to see you guys and all that creativity shine. Now, I have to say, everybody, looking at this crowd today, those rafters are full. That main stage is full. Ladies and gentlemen, can you let them hear you from at home, every fool that did not come to this event today? There you go, there you go. I know it's a fantastic view and experience online as well, but after hearing that, you might be thinking to yourself, damn, I really should have bought a ticket. I really should have gone. Well, don't worry, my friends, because there's always another chance to go to an international. Of course, you might be thinking, where the hell is the next one? Well, we have one more film for you.
Hi, it's Gabe again. First off, I want to thank everyone in Germany for helping us make the International such a success. I have a quick announcement to make before we crown a new champion. We all share our love of the game with an international community, and I'm excited to announce that next year's International will also be returning to a previous location. I hope to see you there.
What a perfect timing! We have Extreme Gaming back in the grand finals, and we are going to Shanghai with TI 2026. A full year still ahead of us, and obviously grand finals, but that is something to look forward to indeed, Tico.
I mean, 2019 when it was there in Shanghai, the arena was exceptional. Like whenever a Chinese team was playing, it was as if the whole arena would erupt. And we have a little, segment here hyping up XG.
A little?
Okay, sure. A third of the arena is hyping up XG in this corner, but it's an electric place to host TI.
It's all part of the script, Chiefs.
It's like it could not be better timing, right? You have XG who make it all the way, through the lower bracket. They get better and better. They make it to the finals. It's not like they need a buff, to have even more motivation to be good and then be the crowning champions maybe next year. But yeah, Shanghai, Chinese TI, insane.
It's just beautiful for Dota, right? The idea, right? That we have China and I don't know. I just love when we have all these regions able to step up and show it to the world.
Yeah, and we have to also remember that it does give. I think Extreme Gaming being in the grand finals gives it as well. It does give a big boost to Dota 2 as a game.
Exactly.
And that is indeed Effie perfect timing.
It really is, because there's this pattern in TI when a region just does better than they were expected to. It reinvigorates the entire region. All of a sudden, players get to scrim these teams that have placed so highly in international tournaments. Everyone gets excited to play. People who thought that there wasn't a viable path for them suddenly think that there is. So we'll probably see even more Chinese teams next year.
I believe that I'm speaking for everyone that we're all happy to see the West against the East again. It's been a long time. This used to be kind of the norm when it did come to the finals. So I'm really happy to see China doing better, Extreme being in the finals, and then the next TI being in China. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
I do believe it has come full circle, because if you're talking about that trend, because it used to be, a Chinese team wins TI and a non-Chinese wins TI. And it alternated for a little bit. And the year that broke that was 2019.
Yeah, and that's that's already so long ago, and it has taken this long for it to come back. We're literally just going full circle.
Yeah, we are going full circle, and we are also going full circle when we head back to the stage, because we're gonna check in with Slacks.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. It is good to see you again. Now, this year, we have decided to do something a little bit different, something that we've never done before. Dota 2 has had so many incredible faces in the International, and we have decided to give a little bit of thanks to one of the biggest players that has been here since the beginning. Now, I could tell you all about this person, but why would I want to do that when we can go straight to the biggest legends of Dota all time and let them know who they think is one of the most impactful Dota players in history?
If you ask me who's the greatest of all time in Dota history, well, there's a lot of history. There's not many of us left that still competed at the first TI a decade and a half ago, right here in Germany. So many names, so many faces that defined entire eras. But if it had to be just one person, there is no one better, in my opinion, than John Whipples.
Back at TI1, a lot of us didn't think it was real. $1 million prize? Well, come on. But I remember this German dude, John Whipples. He was all about it. Crazy guy. He was sure Dota 2 was going to be the next big thing, so he wanted us all to join him for it. I mean, come on, he's the guy who discovered Dendy.
Would I say John Whipples taught me everything about life, about patch? Absolutely! Every day I would watch his replays, and one day I saw this fountain hook bug, and I asked Papi, can we do this at TI? And Papi said, no, it's bullshit. And I said, well, John Whipples used it. And he said,
motherfucking John Whipples is doing it? Then I'm doing it. Guy gave me my first machete. Called it the rapier.
Tongfu had that game. Is that balanced? You hook a guy with Aegis? Fuck John Whipples.
Whipples was an icon, man.
Back in the days, we didn't have all of this fancy shit, these Dota Pro trackers,
Liquipedia or Dota Buff. If you wanted the meta, if you wanted the new stuff,
you wanted that good shit, you downloaded some John Whipple replays.
He had all the best strats.
Oh no, just answer! Thank you, man! Ravage on everyone! The black hole as well! Light of Evan! Turns it around! Ravage as well! Stolen by Dendy! Are you kidding me? It's the John Whipple strat!
He was a decent player back in the day, but never really TI material. But then when he started coaching, it started getting really bad.
First, this guy rage quits during TI4 Grand Finals. Then 2 minutes later, starts fighting with his teammates. Then he started sucking up to NA teams, gets hired by Complexity. But after that incident at TI5, ooh, man. Ooh, sheesh. Ooh.
You really think I should drop my Yulz, John Whipples?
It's the most efficient play. What would Envy do?
Oh. Fuck.
Oh, man. Even the NA teams wouldn't touch him anymore after that.
We hired John Whipple to be our coach on Wings. 我们当时都以为他很牛，因为当时所有人都告诉我们 John Whipple 是最棒的。We asked him what to draft. He just throws darts at the board.
Punching techies already. All right, boys. Wings deliver.
How do we win with punch techies, John Whipples? 他根本什么都不懂。We won because we were good. John Whipple does nothing. John Whipple 真的不是人啊。
After we saw what he did with drafting for Wings, we were really impressed. Like, I invited him to my room to talk Dota. He took my suitcase. All my clothes. For the rest of the event, I have just one pair of shorts. I can't fathom what kind of a freak would do that.
Yeah, man, it was dark days. Times were tough. Times were really tough. And when things looked the most bleak, like we lost everybody, we needed a manager, coach, half a team. John Whipple gave us a call, and he didn't have the best reputation stealing those pants and stuff, but he gave us everything. And before TI10, when Seb lost his retina, he told Seb, take my eye and go win a third TI. And yeah, we got 6 and stuff, but that's okay. That was pretty nice of him.
One day I was playing like knife and handy, of course with Yatra, and I really fucked up because I stabbed myself right before the TI finals, and I said, like, we cooked, boys, it's over. But out from the crowd, this one-eyed man said, take my hands, Carlops. And I took his hands, and I won one TI with one hand, and I took the second hand, and I won the second TI. Thank you, John Whipples. Thank you, John Whipples.
When John Whipples said he started the Dark Tome of Oscarwatch to help us finally beat Gaming Gladiators, I believed him. But I told him, if you do this, they might never make it to TI again. And I thought, that sounds pretty good. And he looked me in the eyes, and he said, I already did it. It did work, though.
Did John Whipples ever make it to the International? No. As a player, he was terrible. But he always watched. He always supported us. He always played pubs and told his friends. And in the end, it's not the players at TI that make it special. It's about people like John Whipples. The viewer, the pubber, the brother. That's why we do what we do. People like you. People like John Whipples.
Guys, because of you, we can play this beautiful game and live our dream lives as a Dota players. And Thank you so much. We love you.
感谢大家的观看，也感谢大家15年来一直的陪伴。
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks to all the Dota fans.
Thank you, fans, for the 14 years of support.
Thank you very much for making this game a reality.
Thank you, Dota viewers. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
You guys are the heart of the community. This is the greatest tournament. We're looking forward every single year, and I hope you guys enjoy the show.
And now, to achieve his Lifetime Achievement Award for all that he's done in Dota 2, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Jonathan Whipples! Oh, he's sacrificed. Any words to say, John Whipples, to the crowd?
Thank you, Dota. And TI, you're amazing.
All right. Any other words, John Whipples?
China.
What? We have to get to a grand finals before we can do that, my friend. So thank you so much to him and everyone like him who's been supporting the International for so long. It is truly the fans, you the viewers at home and here, that make this what it is. Thank you so much, everybody, and let's get on with the show.
Oof, how to follow that up. Ooh, I just want to echo his sentiment real quick there. That was incredibly wholesome, and I do want to just sign that bottom line. Without you guys at home, and obviously without you guys in the arena, we would not be here. We would not see this beautiful game play out the way it does, Kezu.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just feels like kind of fake until you get to like a real life event. You see the people, you see the crowd, you hear the emotion during the game, you see the game unfold. And all the people too that we saw in the video, like they're all just legends. Sometimes you forget, you see them again, you just get so happy. So yeah, thank you to everyone.
Yeah, being part of this space is such a privilege, and I couldn't imagine life in any other way. And it truly is thanks to the fans. Like, without you guys, there wouldn't be any Dota.
It's just a beautiful game. I mean, it speaks for itself. I mean, the way that the fans interact, the players, every time you talk to a player and they talk about the International, you can see how much it means. Like even, we interview Snaking on the stage and how important this event is. Like, again, the Dota, it speaks for itself. It's beautiful. The fans are great. Everything's great. I love it so much.
Yeah, and we just saw a lot of TI champions talking on camera. We're going to see potential TI champions, well, definitely 5 TI champions on stage play. We are going to head into our grand finals very soon. And both of our teams, they do have a lot of experience here at the International. I know there's even 2 TI champions already playing. They are still two-time hopefuls for the TI championship. Let's take a look at all that experience that these players have. I think we start out with Falcons, Effie. This team only started 2 years ago, came fourth last year, wasn't what they wanted, but they're back here in the grand finals.
Yeah, they had a bit of a turbulent year in the sense that if you compare it to the year before that, where they were winning everything, they didn't look as good, but they peaked at just the right amount of time. And we talk about them being a newer team, but it's a team full of veterans. Crit's been chasing the ages forever. Snaking has been playing since the olden days. You've got Coach AUI 2000 as well. And yeah, you've got some of the newer players in Skeeter and Mallory and ATF, but with the veteran experience, it feels hard to call Falcons a new team.
I mean, also like you were saying, I think it matters a lot. If you look at last season where they were so dominant, they went into TI being kind of the favorites, at least to me and many other people, and I don't think that really helped them. But if you look here, they weren't in like their best form or like really considered the favorites going into this TI, and I feel like that was an absolutely huge buff to them because now we see them here in the grand finals and they've played so well all throughout TI.
I mean, the mentality of this team to be able to go from like the favorites of the last year to then be, not even in contention a couple of times, it shows that there is such a good kind of system around this team to be able to shine, and they shine when it matters.
They do shine when it matters, although today it matters most of all. So we're going to see if they can make their dream a reality here by taking this ages. Snaking and Skeeter have done it before. Being 2-time champions, of course, would mean a lot, but I think our attention maybe goes a little bit out more to the players that have not yet won the International. I think if you guys were here the entire day, which I hope you were, you would have seen a fantastic list of accomplishments by Crit in particular, being the player with the most consecutive TIs in a row under his belt. And this is his first time, Kezu, in the grand final.
Yeah, it's taken him so long. It's like what he's been chasing it since like 2015. Like this guy is one of the most consistent players when it comes to like top tier Dota. Another one that he reminds me of is like, the likes of Zai. That he's played so long, always like top 2, top 3, doesn't matter what hero you give him, always does well, always makes it happen, but has never won TI.
I mean, we keep saying uncrowned king for Arme, but I feel like there's the same sentiment should be going the way of Crit. Like at some point, it is inevitable, and in this grand finals, one of them, be it from China or Western Europe, will finally get the Aegis they've been hunting for.
Yeah, and focusing our attention on their opponents because, as T just mentioned, there are multiple players that have been in grand finals before, but never quite reached that pinnacle there, Effie.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard though. Like, for them being so close every time, I think that takes a different level of emotions than what Falcons are currently experiencing. But these players are so deserving of this. Ame, he's been in 2 grand finals that he very well could have taken. XXS, who's been my personal MVP of this tournament, you could feel how hungry that he is for it. And it's about time that this team is here again.
Yeah, and actually, he was so cool in the interview. He was like, he was asked, do you have any nerves? Do you care? He's like, nah, man, I don't feel anything. I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to play in the grand finals. And like you were saying too, Effie, about Ame, like, I just watched a True Side from a few years ago where I believe it's Shin Q calling him, well, I guess you're just the king of fireworks, because he always gets second place, loses 2-3, and he gets to watch the fireworks from the losing position. It's heartbreaking.
I mean, he has to live up to those words though, right? To say that if they weren't in the grand finals, it'd be a 3-0. I'm expecting, based on that, it has to then be a 3-2 grand finals to either side, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that would, keep up the track record.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Oh, that'd be, oh no.
That would be really painful.
Don't talk about it, please.
Wait, God, that's for like game 3 content, not yet.
I mean, we talk about Crit and a lot of consecutive TIs, and you could make a case for calling him or Zai or any of the other with a lot of TIs under their belt, calling them uncrowned kings. But it's Ame that gets called that because he was there twice, so close, and not just, oh, he made it to the grand finals, therefore he's close. No. Those grand finals he played in, Effie, those were nail-biting.
Absolutely. They were almost his. Like, that's what I mean with the emotional recovery and how hard it is to think about that and how hard it must be for him to know that, like, it's one of those moments where you just can't sleep that night. You just play it in your head over and over and over again. Like, what if I just did this differently on Tiny versus Spirit? What if I did this differently on Morphling? This time around, I feel like third time has to be the charm, right?
Right?
It's gotta be.
I mean, since TI8, there's only been a Chinese team in the grand finals twice, of course, both of them being Arme. They're also playing against, like you said, 2 different teams. So it's now another team Arme can try and go up against. If he wasn't to do it this time, then...
Tess.
Hurts.
It hurts. When we saw these 2 teams play in the Road to TI, it was the longest series we've had. It was mental. I think that's what we should be focusing on. We'll see who comes out victorious in the end, but we will see who comes out first out of the gates to take place in the booths, and that is Team Falcons. Today, and this could all change. All they need to do is win 1 best of 5. Surely that should be possible, but I'm sure their opponents will put up a big fight. Let's welcome XG.
Choose wisely and crush those responsible.
Falcons, and they are no strangers to playing in an international, in a grand finals. And I think maybe that just might give them a little edge. And maybe Barclays Arena, in terms of their vocal chords, is giving them a little edge as well.
No, I'm loving the side of, it's right to our left, right? The XG fan base, as soon as the game starts, they're just roaring. It is just so much support for this team. And again, it is the best possible grand finals that you could ask for, right? Falcons versus XG. It's the international for a reason. You want to have the big international teams from across the world clashing against each other. I couldn't ask for anything else today.
No, it's honestly the best thing possible, and we've talked about it before. They've already matched up, and it was an absolute nail-biter. Like 3 games, all over an hour, high skill. You have the team fights back and forth, new picks coming out, just all the stuff happening that you want to see at a TI. But yeah, I gotta say, XG for me and Falcons, like some of their players, they're so high-skilled. I just love watching them play.
But after their matchup, they went through different journeys in the playoffs, right? Falcons just looked extremely dominant after the road to the international. They clearly learned a lot of lessons, took it into the playoffs, whereas Extreme Gaming, their road was not as simple. Their game seemed harder. Their game seemed longer. They had to play in these situations where they were down so much net worth. They could have lost yesterday versus BB Team. They brought it back. They channeled that TI magic. They could have lost today, and they brought it back versus P-Vision, and they channeled that TI magic. I mean, they're just doing this from their passion, from their grit, whereas Falcons are so methodical. They've been so clean the entire playoffs.
Unlike previous TIs, so Falcons at least have dropped games, right, in their journey here. Losing game 1 to BB, losing game 1 to P-Vision. The fact that they've at least dropped a game in that series, it does give me hope that it's going to be an extremely competitive TI finals.
Yeah, and to me also, like, I love some of the things that you can see on screen right now. Like, everyone has like their own type of techniques, right? You have Skeeter, he does this little lock-in. You have other teams that are gonna you're gonna do the fist bump, you do your handshake, you get yourself in the zone, stay steady, because these games and being on the stage, especially today, is the most stressful thing that you can go through as a Dota player.
Yeah, and that is even without the crowd still cheering on everyone. Definitely a lot of pressure coming into the booth for both of these squads today. And I do want to talk a little bit about how they faced earlier in the tournament, because those were type of games that we thought defined at that point the road to the international, and we thought that was going to carry on in the international itself, and it kind of hasn't. So we have seen developments of both teams in a certain way, but I wonder how we would describe their style now, especially compared to that series they played last time.
Falcons to me still seem very much, I would say, the same. They're very stable, very polished. They're going to stick to the heroes. But to me, what I see for this series in particular is team fighting. Off-lane team fight heroes, their priority has been going up. Mars, S tier. Centaur, S tier. XXS, performance one after the other, where he just takes it all. His Earthshaker too. So those are the heroes that I'm particularly looking at for the series.
Yeah, those will be exciting for sure to watch, especially XXS. He's really been stepping it up. But when you look at Falcons versus Extreme Gaming, there's a bit of an issue in terms of how the early game has been going for these teams. Extreme Gaming have found themselves in positions where they're down a lot. They have to play for the late game. They have to turtle. They have to hug on. They look for their key team fights. Whereas Falcons have been heftily leading almost all of their early games. Even in the games that they lost during playoffs, they were up like 8K net worth at some point. So this is where it's going to be hardest for Extreme Gaming. Can they weather the storm of Falcon's early game, their map efficiency, how much net worth they're going to get, their lanes?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can see from the previous series, right? P-Vision, when they were going for the farm game, XG was like, oh, sure, we'll match that. We had nearly no kills in the first 20 minutes. Really, really slow entry to the game. And like Effie's mentioning, it will not be the same this time around. So maybe, Zhao Wei from XG, if he changes a couple of the bans, he tries to take out some of that tempo that Falcons utilize, then we might be getting to the 40, 50-minute points of the game where, the epic team fights and the scaling of Chinese Dota gets to shine.
I am happy you mentioned Zhao Wei, because I do want to take a moment to talk about the two coaches that will pick their players hero. I say that though, Kezu, but I do seem to remember AUI talking about that he's no longer the one clicking the buttons. Zhao Wei is, of course.
Yeah, so of course AUI, he gave it over to Amar, who it seems he's doing a stellar job, right? His last pick, 24 picks, like he nails it, the Underlord, the Huskar, whatever it is. So Amar, honestly, a very big piece for the team. But to stay on the topic of the coaches, these might be two of the most accomplished and most experienced coaches that you have in all of Dota. Zhao Wei himself, he won a TI. He's been in multiple TI finals as a coach. You have AOI who won it as a player, won it as a coach. So yeah, if you're going to have two masterminds go up against each other, you've got them right here.
But also in regards to the finals, right? Falcons, they played the most games coming into it, but they have the smallest hero pool when you compare both of them, right? Heroes played, I think it's like 37 to Falcons. XG have played over 45 heroes in like 3 or 4 less games, right? So I think it's, in regards to the coaching, it's going to be, can Zhao Wei find a niche new pick or new strategy to throw at Aoi, whilst Aoi's going to be going for the tried and tested, build that formation they're used to. If the game is to be a loss, it would be fix the fundamentals. But in regards to drafting, the creativity often shines from the side of XG.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the flair that the Chinese region has always had, is that they'll dip into heroes that other teams aren't looking at. Yesterday, for example, we saw the Sniper come out of Extreme Gaming. We saw the carry Chaos Knight come out of Extreme Gaming, Kazu.
Yeah, and it's also like, so this is one of the last times that these teams did match up, right? We talked about the road to TI, but it's just these 70-minute games. You've had a lot of the Beastmasters coming back. And it was honestly just nail-biters. I don't care too much about the drafts, because especially in the grand finals, it's going to be mainly about the gameplay. Sure, the draft, it will make it easier. But if you outplay your opponent, you will weather the storm. You can get through the early game, you can get through the mid game. And I love that you guys touched on it earlier, because where Falcons get the lead, it's early. It's the lanes into the first rotation. Whereas for XG, that is absolutely where they struggle.
Yeah, and one of the ways that Falcons has been getting a lead is because of this mid laner, Malrine. This is his second international. Malrine has played a lot of the Sand Kings and the Earthshakers, Effie.
Oh, Malrine, this guy is the rock of his team in terms of how they have such a strong early game. You know, we call him here a stunner, but he actually has the highest average stuns per second per game of any player at the international by far. He averages 80 seconds of stun per game, where the next closest was NTS at 66 seconds. In one of his games, he even had a 346-second stun record in one of his like really long games versus Tidebond. But the way that they draft, the way that they play their early game, they'll pick this Earthshaker mid, they'll pick this Sand King mid, they'll let him farm his Blink Dagger, and then he's just on that enemy safe lane, creating the stuns with the follow-up damage from crit, and that's how they get their first few kills.
I mean, he's so good at tempo controlling, right? It's what they want from him. His heroes play so good for it, and his positioning and spellcasting is just top-notch.
It helps that those heroes that you've highlighted are all kind of very active with little to no economy, right? Like a Psyche needs a blink, a Pangolier needs levels. If you shut him down in laning phase, he can still be active and try and fix it, but I think critically for XG, they need to try and stop Malrine opening up the early game.
Happy honeymoon. And of course, on stage right now, we do have 10 players that really want to claim that Aegis that is on display. But let's take a look at what it actually takes to claim the Aegis.
It is a summit that few have conquered, where the legends of the past have written their own epic stories, where scores of fallen contenders have mourned their shattered dreams. You can give everything. Triumph here are greater than fame. 16 teams began this journey in Hamburg. The last 2 now face off on the ultimate stage. Each is one step from immortality, with one final adversary standing in the way. We gather to bear witness, to honor those who've battled here, to see who will join the ranks of the fallen hopefuls, and who will ascend to the highest tier. The road to victory is always changing. What it takes to be a champion remains the same. Team Falcons versus Extreme Gaming Grand Finals. Game 1.
Here we go, it has begun. We got Extreme Gaming on the Radiant side, Team Falcons on the Dire side, and the drafting has begun. The strategic part of how these two teams will try to get their first victory on the board in this best of 5. Let's see how the teams have prepared versus each other, and let's see how it differs from the series they played earlier last week. We already have a very nice stylistic change. I do love the respect that XM is getting on his sniper there, Effie.
You really have to respect this hero and its ability to come out during the grand finals, because this is his pocket pick. This is his hero that he never loses lane with. And you know what? Just take his lane dominators out of the way, enable Mallory, and that's the play that Falcons are going to make here. For Extreme Gaming, they just take out that Sand King. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to try to let it through and beat it. And now they've got first pick. Maybe they could look towards their XXS or Shaker, but they've got their freedom of choice here, Kazu.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a lot about these heroes that we've seen banned out a lot, right? You have Falcons, like Mars is available for the pool. It's gonna be on the eyes of both teams. And yeah, like you said, I love this ban. You wanna make sure that you stay in the comfort and don't give something to the enemy team that's gonna take you out of your comfort. And XM, on these really nasty and annoying heroes, that's his specialty.
It's the exact same bans that XG did against Falcons the last time that they played, and they first picked Shaker in that position. I'm interested to know if they are to do that. Falcons, they first picked Shaker early in the tournament and got annihilated, so they know how to deal with it. And instead, XG, they go for the Mars. And we do have two of the most experienced Mars players in the world now in this grand finals between XSS and ATF.
I love this Mars pick. You know it's going to be contested in this draft, but they're saying that their offlane player, XXS, he's been owning this entire tournament. Let's first pick his hero. Who cares counters? Who cares how the early game goes? We'll just get him that Blink Dagger, and he will create situations for us.
Then I would like Falcons to respond straight away, just like the Pangolier. You've already banned the Pup, the Sniper. Against the Arena, you have that Chaos. If XG is going to go for Comfort, why not allow Falcons to match the picks with Comfort for themselves?
What I love too, when you have two of the best teams playing like their best heroes, it really goes to show you what they value and what they feel like they want to do against you. Like, what do you need to pick with it? What do you need to ban against it? And here's the Pangolier, really nice call there. You have a super good with the team fight matching, looks great.
Yeah, both heroes fit in a lot of different strategies, so not giving away too much here either, and maybe even some flex still possible. It's not likely, but it is possible.
It absolutely is possible, and I feel like if you're also going to look at the bans, both of these heroes require a lot of similar things for them, right? You want this follow-up damage into the teamfight, so the Hoodwinks, the Snaps, very likely that Falcons have their eyes on it, same for Extreme Gaming, and if one of them gets banned out, the other gets picked, gonna have to look further down the list.
The question is, do you think XG is going to start trying to enable the Mars by banning out difficult heroes for the Mars to initiate on? Or is it more thinking about the wider game? At the moment, they're still going towards taking away the Malrine specialties, right? The Shakers, but something to think about potentially for future picks.
I think they're thinking of the wider game right now, because if you're first picking your offlaner, you're saying that it doesn't matter how the laning stage goes. We just want this hero for us. And on the topic of Snapfire, that has to be the most contested support between these two teams. It's looked great in the hands of Extreme Gaming. They flex it between 4 and 5. And if you give this hero to crit, we've seen him do magic with it.
Especially when it comes to ultra late game, of course. Which you have to keep in mind, I think.
Okay, so let's see for Falcons. The out of pick phase is very likely for them gonna be this crit type hero that we have talked about, very likely on the Snapfire. If you're Falcons, it would be nice if you can keep the Pangolier open, whether it goes mid or it does go into the offlane. And also with a lot of these mids getting banned out, I would not mind if Marine ends up playing it, but you need to kind of ban for it too, so that Extreme don't like force you to put it into the offlane, because there's a lot of MMR heroes that can be quite good against the Mars, maybe some Underlord, where every time the arenas you gate over, you drop the pipe. If any of these two teams know what a Mars wants, they've got the exact correct players for it.
And it will be a ban to the Troll for the ban, the one ban that Falcons had, and the non-surprising Snapfire. I'm sure that also Extreme Gaming knows that this hero would come out at this stage. They opted to ban out the Beastmaster and the Shaker. No harm in that either. Very strong heroes in the hands of Falcons.
I think Snapfire in particular goes up in value if you see an offlaner very early, because you can see if it's the pipe buyer or not. Mars, this hero does not really buy pipe for his team. That's usually the way that teams will play against early game magic damage. Mars has a different archetype though. He's that Yules into Blink Buyer, into BKB, into Refresher, and XG snag up a Hoodwink of their own, the follow-up damage to their Sun.
The question for XG is, do they want to double pick support here and then enable Falcons to kind of know exactly what they're laning into in regards to the support powers?
I mean, it would be, I think it's okay if you pick your 5 here just because you know that most likely you are up against the Snap. Like you're either up against Snap X or Snap Pango.
So then like a Bane where you can play most lanes.
I was looking at it too, but it's sadly banned.
Oh, is it? Oh, first phase banned, yeah, I'm blind. Well, they go for the Elder Titan.
Yeah,
Nova had an incredible game yesterday with it.
He's been so good on this hero for years. Even in like the prime LGD days, they were very good at always. You have the range carry on Ame, you get the ET on X Nova in the 5. They lane so well together. It's super good with Mars too, right? Mars goes in and he just wants this abundance of AoE spells being thrown into. They've played this combo many times before. Great pick.
They did this exact opening earlier in the playoffs against Nigma, right? If you replace the Hoodwink with Snapfire, that's the opening they have. But even, we talk about Snap and Hoodwink, it's kind of the same hero for what it does on the map, but it's such a formidable opening. It can pretty much activate any future core picks. It can play any type of game. Like this is probably the strongest draft opening I think XG could do.
Especially for what it is that they want to do. They want a team fight. They want to out-execute in that mid-game, not based off of their lanes, but based off of how well they spellcast. And they're just going to triple down on the team fight here, I'm sure, with their next few picks. But what they need right now is damage to take advantage of ET's buff. They need that Leshrac-style mid laner that is really going to pump out the DPS.
Honestly, it's going to feel good doing that because Falcons, they're picking the Enchantress. They're going for that pace in that early game pressure that enabled them to, put P-Vision to the lower bracket. And now against XG, the same formula could work, right? If you break your lanes, take these early towers, it's not going to be a 4-kill game at 15, 20 minutes. XG, they have to respect Falcons are going to play a really strong early game.
Yeah, and most likely from the start, this is usually where they end up taking Skeeter's hero, right? You keep the Pango open between like your 2 and 3, you don't really want to show. Sven is something that they've played before. I mean, it's nice if you can get a BKB hero because you are going up against the Mars, against the Hoodwink, you have the edge. Because Falcons, this is also no surprise to XG. You have seen these heroes before, you know what they're going to do in the early game. But at the top level of Dota, you can show your cards, but if you execute perfectly, it is really hard to play into it. It's also where the troll ban comes in kind of handy. It's good for the Sven. So now for XG, where do you want to go? They've shown us like a Medusa before because Ame, he wants the carry-to-carry matchup. He can have it if he wants to. This is his pick if he wants to have it.
It's the Medusa or the Ursa. That's where I'm leaning. If you want to go for not dying to the burst and the jump, you can go for the Ursa. You then follow up with your Arena. And then the Medusa, like you mentioned, also very, very strong. The only question mark would be Panglid, Diffusal Blade. Is that annoying enough to scare you from picking it? If it isn't, also very, very good.
And this pick for Extreme Gaming is the most important pick in the draft. They have 2 bans afterwards to protect it. And of course, it is the other team, it's Falcons, that is getting the overall last pick. So if you want to protect any pick in your draft, this is it. Extreme. And it will be the Ursa. So that will be Ame's hero for this one.
Yeah, it just gives you that ability to kind of clutch up in the moments. Like a lot of the iconic clips from XG in this tournament have been, pumping in a Lotus or a quick turnaround play, and why not put Ame on a hero that can throw themselves into these vulnerable positions and let the rest of his team shine, and then he'll turn it around.
He gives them like all the follow-up damage that they're looking for, and still he's XM open, right? Sure, you have to ban a lot of heroes against this guy. It's one of my favorite guys when it comes to actually XXS, XM, standout performance, and you've got to be careful. This guy can absolutely turn the game on its head.
It's a really great pick in terms of also jumping the backline. You have this ET who with the Spirit is going to be able to scout out heroes for you in team fights. So you want the ability to instantly connect to them, either with an Arena and just burst them down really quickly. The only issue is Ursa ET on lane, you're going to play against either Snap or Enchantress. It's most likely the Snap and maybe even a Pango off lane. And in that case, he's going to suffer a little bit. Like his entry into the game will be slower. Ursa is not renowned for his laning unless he's paired with something like a Disruptor.
So they're banning out the Huskar to respect the fact they need Ursa to get into the game, right? Yep. The last time that Ammar played Viper competitively was 4 months ago. What stops Ammar doing something like this as well? Like I fully break the lane, my Sven will farm, my Pango goes active, they will win me the game, but as long as I do the breaking of the first 15, 20 minutes, like that's the thinking I'm having, is because if Ammar's happy to Huskar, he'll be happy to bring out any other hero to dominate the lane. And there's the Storm Leshrac bans that you mentioned earlier.
I will say that if there is any team that has Viper on their radar always...
Go again, go again.
Oh my god, there's so many legends on there.
Has he got more?
There will be more.
Nice. Little hipster.
We gotta fix that one.
Rowan. very bleak, my guy.
Going back. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Instead, they ban out the Doom
This
again.
man
Very,
must
very
be
stable.
really warm.
Oh, yes.
Great. Follow-up. Storm gets taken out, Lesh, who builds Blink Dagger, gets taken out. All that's left is for Queen of Pain with the Sonic Wave to give you that added damage. XG are looking to blink in, take the fights quickly, burst them, and then re-engage.
And but building on that as well, they also have kiting, right? If they are to blink in and maybe misinitiate, Ursa can disengage, Quap can disengage, ET can assist the fight to ensure that the secondary fight also looks quite good. The layering on XG's lineup ensures that this game is going to have points of pressure any single time.
So you can decide, do you want Pango to go in the mid lane, or do you want Amar to play it on the off lane?
I mean, you can go mid, but you do take quite a beating from the Queen of Pain. It's not your favorite matchup. You could say similar things for the offlane, even though I feel like maybe with the Snap 4, you can like try to offset the lanes. So to me, it's more about what they value more. Like, what do they also feel like they need from the game? You have two guys that jump in. Like, your draft covers quite a lot. So if you care more about the lanes, you could go for a pretty heavy laning hero here.
And for this Ember, just because they wanted to secure that mid lane matchup versus the Queen of Pain. They want something that can just stay on lane versus it, not get bullied out, and try to match its tempo.
Yeah, not only that, it provides so much vision throughout the game. The lockdown available for XG is quite limited. So if Maurine's going in first, baiting Exorcist to ever waste a spear or arena, it then activates the rest of his lineup to go in. And then you throw in a Pangolier with the Rolling Thunder as well. Vision and information will be always on the side of Falcons if they're the one going in first.
So if you're playing Hoodwink and ET versus Embers,
Ember and what they can do, but also Queen of Pain, right? If Queen of Pain pops off and every time you go somewhere you're getting a kill, it could buy enough time for the items of the Mars to fix some of their lockdown issues, or the items on the Ursa to ensure he has that burst potential. I think mid lane is such a critical matchup in this game one.
Yeah, I mean, I really love these two drafts. Like, the way I see it too is that Falcons, they have this early to mid game that they usually have, and then they might taper off a little bit, you know, against Extreme Armor. He's got his Ursa against the Sven matchup, but I also like that Falcons, they covered their like late game. The refresher on the Ember, the refresher on the Pango, the 5-slot, the 6-slot. Sven, you know, doesn't do too well there, but then his teammates come in again with the network to back it up. So we're in for a long game. We're in for a lot of fights and absolute banger team fighting.
That would be fantastic. I do have one final question to you. You say that this mid matchup super important here with the Queen of Pain and the Ember. How much help are they going to get from the supports? How much help can we expect they get?
Falcons could be tri-laning mid lane. With an Ench and a Snapfire, they're going to be running mid. But XG, they do have the arena. It feels like on their side as well. So they do.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, I am standing by AUI 2000, coach of Falcons, and you are no stranger to this, my friend. In 2022 in Singapore with Tundra coaching Grand Finals. I was wondering if you could maybe take me back in time about that team's journey to Grand Finals versus how Falcons have made it here.
I mean, honestly, for both teams, it's just been an incredibly rewarding journey. I mean, standing in this crowd, like being able to play in front of them, it's all every Dota player dreams of. So I think we're just all grateful to be here. For 5 games, you know. We actually respect Extreme a lot as a team, so we're super happy to play them now.
It was good. It was 3-0.
Already see XM and Malrine trading blows, as we will see in hopefully 5 games of this series.
Oh, yeah.
XM has already taken...
If MMR is on one of those tempo setters like the Bristleback, for example, these games can spiral very quickly off a laning stage win. XG need to step up their first 10 minutes in this series if they want to have a good chance of competing. But that said, they also made some crazy comebacks. Yes, this is a team you cannot count them out at any point in that game. And this is another lineup that can just scale like a beast across all 3 cores. I like that they went for the first pick Mars. That's a dominance move. We're taking it away from ATF. We're going to get it for XXS early. We don't care if we have to first pick it. We want him comfortable. We want him controlling the fights. And by God, has this man had a TI. He absolutely has to be in the front running for this MVP right now.
100%. I mean, he saved Extreme Gaming's life in that lower bracket final. In fact, in the lower bracket in its entirety, he has come up for Extreme time and time again, and he is a large reason why they are here in this finals. Ame, he's trying to put some pressure onto Amar where he can in this Ursa versus Pango matchup, but the mobility is not allowing him to do so.
It's a crazy teamfight scaler, something to give them confidence in the late game. Downside is it does have some rough lane matchups. Falcons are trying to abuse this Enchantress with the Dispel against X-Nova. Get that lane win in the off lane for Amar. Does require you to put crit into that safe lane. You lose a little comfortability, but you gain real...
Threw the blood grenade at him, but they couldn't go for the kill. While Amar goes down, they trade out cores. X-Nova, can he beat down Snaking? One more hit, he's got it. A 2-for-1 special, and the action returns at the top lane, as this time it's Crit who puts his life in danger and does not manage to get out of it.
I was maybe a little concerned for XG laning-wise coming into this series, but already they are hitting the mark. This XXS Mars is the most farm hero coming out of this laning phase. They even get a kill with that Ursa on the Pango, not expected, and so much XP for X-Nova on an amazing hero to get early levels on in this Elder Titan. Already has the boots online, already level 4, putting points into that natural order. You combine this with some of the Queen damage later, the Mars damage later. They have such good teamfight combinations. If you're Falcons, you need to get this Ember off to a good start. Play through him, let him drive the pace of the game. Don't let XG set up these big fights around Roshan where they're super confident in their AoE control.
Fighting for power runes, but locked out by the chains. Got a bushwhack, trying to stop it. Another stun comes in. XM is able to get the blink away, and Jin-Q is the one to pick up the arcane rune instead. A little bit of HP fed over to Malrine. He'll be okay, and XM being the ranged hero should be able to weather through this.
Jin-Q just playing with him. This early Urn creates such a threat. Early Urn creates such a threat with the blood grenade combination. He's basically just fighting 2 supports in the river, taking the rune with the blood grenade combination. He's basically just fighting 2 supports in the river, taking the rune away from Malrine. That rune away from Malrine, that's a huge win. As XM feeling the pressure of some of these summons, double, it's a huge win. As XM feeling the pressure of some of these summons, double range creep, plus Enchantress, plus Catapult about to hit your tower. Need reinforcements here.
It out with this Ursa, but he's needed in the mid lane. They pop a glyph here. Another enchant, so another creep to be able to tank this tower. A few more Siege Wagon hits, and then another round of creeps will enter into the tower. So this siege, I'm happy we get to see two cores that do not build.
There's not going to be a single helm in this game.
Bless. Another Wisdom Shrine is coming up in 40 seconds. Crowd happiest they've been all day.
The helm meta died somewhere in the lower bracket, it would seem, as these teams just want to duke it out. Malrine still looking for that Mage Slayer, but very strong on the front line as long as he doesn't get bushwhacked into the burst damage.
Tried to get the slight chains, but let's face it, diving into the tier 2, that is a risk a bit too much for Falcons. And this smoke seems to have petered out.
And items flying in for XG right now. They dodge that fight, they get Blade Mail on the Quaff, they get Yules on the Mars. Early fight items now online. 14-minute Wisdom Shrines are spawning. Looks like they're just going to get it traded out here unless X-Nova wants to try something really sneaky down there.
Yeah, this will make it so that Malrine can't be nearly as aggressive, right? There was very little punish outside of a sick bushwhack that we saw, but now he's going to be running into potentially a Mars.
A lot of threat coming out from XXS right now. Downside is you don't have the reach of something like the Blink Dagger, so it's a little harder to just make an aggressive smoke play with confidence. But if you get the right angle, you just run into heroes, phase boots into the Yules, it'll do that.
That first move with this Yules, it's going to be red, smoked right underneath a laning ward.
Upside is if you just go to the tier 1, you might just be able to pummel this tower and get something out of this move regardless. The Falcons don't want to give up this tier 1 for free.
Sure, and maybe find the sacrificial support position.
Yep.
Here comes that play. Even had the scan on the mid lane right next to XM to
and an Obs.
Who was next to him.
Obs placed right under Sentry up top.
You're going to try for it. Rolling Thunder. Amar. The chains, but he doesn't pull the trigger just yet. I mean, if the tower's not going to fall, there's really no need.
That's not a fight you want to force into this amp damage Ember. Not the timing to do it, especially when Ursa's just not going to join the fight. Battle Fury was just finished for Omeg a minute ago. He's cruising in the farm department. He's having a great time. No pressure on him right now. Recovering his disadvantage against the Sven, who had all of those ancient stacks earlier. Does not want to be dragged into a bad engagement for a tier 1.
Falcons make a show of a 5-man defense in the mid lane. After the tower's defended, back to hitting neutrals. They really haven't gotten... They haven't ground out that usual lead that Falcons tends to do after a laning phase. Extreme is still keeping up despite the stack disparity.
Difficult team to grind it out against.
Why is that?
They're just resilient around the map. They rarely give up really bad core deaths. I mean, the games that are spiraling are going to spiral for anybody, but I feel like they just don't feed in poor places. It's usually getting lanes super deep. X-Nova, he's...
okay, the Croaker. Yeah, Snaking had that well in control. There was no problem there whatsoever.
That's that Mage Slayer online for the Ember, so time to get aggressive. Follow Malrine, let him bring these supports back into the game in a really nice position. Look,
Malrine does find another one. Slight chains, kisses. And XXS biding his time, waiting for Malrine to show, but the kisses give too much information. They have to back away.
Too easy right now. Just follow this Ember. Very little XG can do about it unless they are just baiting someone out and going and using.
Yeah, as you said, the core is not being picked off, but they do manage to find some support kills.
Actually don't mind this kind of style though. Like, they're willing to give up some part of the map early on in a game to push it later, get their item timings, and take that fight. Even if it's at a 5 or 6k net worth disadvantage, they believe in their execution. They believe in their timing. They're going to overcome that, particularly around the Roche bit. We have seen this team dominate Roshan fights. To me, it's been their sig.
I was about to say, if anything's going to give them even more confidence, is going to be that lower bracket finals, game 3. Yeah. They played against a net worth advantage the entire time, and still had to be able to pull through, and they sure did.
I mean, at this point, just believe XXS is going to win you the Roshan fight because he's done it time and time again.
Yeah, just
win you the Roshan fight because he's done it time and time again.
Yeah, just give up every Roche. Just make sure.
There's the Blink Dagger for the Mars. He was thinking about, you know, you could argue. Dominator. I don't think I've ever seen that. Teams hit the right in time as they look for a play, but the other recognize. Vision. Yeah, that's all it takes for you to get insta vision. Yeah, that's all it takes for you to get insta jump from the Hex. But what do you do with this pickoff? What do Falcons try and do here? They're looking on this ward. They have Daedalus. What do Falcons try and do here? They're looking on this ward. They have Daedalus on Skeeter.
XXS still off BKB, but they got the shot on him, and from behind, a big crit from Skeeter takes out XXS. The Sonic Wave on 3, Yule's up the air for crit. Skeeter makes a run for it with his BKB, but XN will still pounce on both supports, trying to slow them down. Hoping that they can at least get one of them here. Snaking, pull back in, and finally Ame shows up to the fight to claim Snaking's head. Pull back in, and finally Ame shows up to the fight to claim Snaking's head. They'll get one out of this.
Nice pickoff for Falcons. They get this Mars off.
One out of this.
Nice pickoff for Falcons. They get this Mars off the map. They do pay a little bit of a price. But once Ame shows up to that fight, you're not taking it unless there's confident that the control is going to come through.
Yeah, considering that BKBs didn't have to be used for Extreme, this is a very deadly point. No Pango, everything up for Extreme. Being able to take the Mars off the bat, like you said it, like there's not really that much initiation for Extreme if there is no Mars.
They did get another D word off that, though. Falcons are losing a lot of words to make these plays. It's really adding up.
You combine lack of vision with the Elder Titan, the vision advantage that Elder Titan's going to give you. It caused some problems, but those problems, they can at least wait another minute or two, because really there's no objectives until Roshan is up. They want to take this tier 2. I'm sure Falcons wouldn't care that much about it. Ame tries to go fishing with this Haster and see if he can find some hero up here farming up jungle.
I mean, this Hoodwink Dom has done some work. Jin-Q mega farm now. Finished an entire Lincoln Sphere. I wouldn't say it's the best Lincoln Sphere game. Not really good against the Pango Ember here.
Yeah, you're stopping the Sven
That is it. You are trying to throw this on Ame or XM, maybe even XXS, who's been getting jumped a lot. If you block that Sven stun, could be a huge deal in the fight, but it's a very expensive investment to look just for that.
Yeah. I mean, there's maybe little things like blocking out a Yules during an enrage timing for an Ursa or something like that. It could go a long ways.
Could come into play, absolutely.
Level 25s are right around the corner for both of our carries. That's going to be a bit spooky as Roshan. We're in that potential spawn period. Both teams are going to be playing around this area.
High damage talents for both of these carries. Like the burst damage just becomes insane. To me, if the fight goes long, this Queen could be a big problem for Falcons. In theory, their answer to a long fight is, Pango Ember, bringing that same sort of attrition and just constant spell spam.
Yeah.
But the way the fights have been going is, it feels like one of those cores just gets bursted. I think you still want to jump this Sven in to almost give them better entry into the fight.
If you get to a Satanic and then Ember Spirit continues to scale, do you think that flips to the other side at some point? That longer fights can still work for Falcons because the Ember mostly?
Oh, I think they can. It's just execution.
Sure.
You kite out those little moments. Can you dodge the jump from Ame? Does someone control him when he's trying to go in and burst that target while he's committing BKB? Small things like this make all the difference. Can you find supports at the start of the engagement? You take X Nova out.
Anything. A pickoff there could have led to control the Roshan pit. A swift blink Ame Ursa.
He's so farmed. All he needs is that level 25. Trying to hold this high ground. There's a sneaky Radiant Ward behind this tree line. A sneaky Radiant Ward behind this tree line over here too. Could be really pivotal if you scout someone in the river.
Oh, yeah.
Could be really pivotal if you scout someone in the river.
Oh, yeah.
Not an easy obs to D-ward. XG, just wait. They're playing patient right now. Trying to finish up the last few items to go into this next Roshan battle. It's gonna be A on disc for XM. It's jump by the Sven, he assembles that disc. The jump is gone.
And you pretty much can't afford a bad jump for this Sven, right? It almost feels like the fight is over if he jumps the wrong person and can't kill them.
Or if he jumps, stuns, goes to hit, Ame jump. Jumps, epistles him. That's an easy turnaround. Sure. XG, you're going to throw out the Sonic Wave. Arena's going to hit someone in the back. Skeeter going in here is very difficult, but he almost has to, the way the lineup functions.
Has to pick and choose his battles, and he's going to go for XM, but I think they know about the Aeon Disc. They have not jumped after this initiation from Amar. What a read from Falcons, but XM holds off on putting the Aeon Disc together. They'll TP away on the Rolling Thunder. They tried to get something. That was just such a smart play on both sides. XM, I mean, the balls did not put that Aeon Disc together when you're being sent up by Rolling Thunder, knowing there could just be a Sven that one-shots you. But he refuses to do it.
He knows Ame has his back on that counterplay. He knows if Skeeter jumps, he will pay a big price there.
And they have damage for a Sven. Maybe they get the Roshan. But Falcons, I think they still want to force this fight. They're going to try. Malrain, he just throws straight. They decide to vice on him. Here comes that spear. But the Sven with the amp damage, where is he? He isn't able to get there in time, and now he's been hit by the gold. He gets grabbed onto the Queen of Pain. XM gets off the Aeon Disc! Keeps himself alive, and he blinks away from Skeeter. The initiation has gone all wrong, and now begins the fight. It doesn't fight for long. Ame and his claws will rip through the Sven armor. They'll find another with XXS, a pin against the wall, and Amar, he'll fall as well.
Beautiful kiting from XG. The control on the Sven, stalling up his jump to follow that Emperor Spirit. And such clutch hexes from XXS. This guy's control has been on point this entire tournament. Such a strong team fight from XG. Their burst damage is just insane. Malrain, he took so much there, but that ET amps it all up. You get hit by that Earth Splitter. One last bash from the Ursa and you're gone. Nobody to bail you out of that situation. A deep dive goes wrong for him.
And if Extreme win this game one, I mean, what are you gonna do if you're the coach? What are you gonna do if you're the drafter? AY 2000. Amar, he doesn't want to ban Mars. That's his hero.
You gotta take it away from him.
Yeah, you're gonna be put in that corner where you have to take it, and we may see if Extreme have answers to it. But first, they have to close out this game one to make that happen, and they may have a big lead.
Games. Dire's top tower. XXS.
It does. I mean, you're going to have to wait 2.5 minutes because killing him is going to take some sort of initiation, and I don't think they'll be able to pull that off twice. I mean, they have like no instant stuns. The best you have is Sven, Blink, melee range, Stormhammer.
But he has
Rolling Thunder. I mean, they have like no instant stuns. The best you have is Sven, Blink, melee range, Storm.